Hey everyone, it's Abby. So last night I was following the news about basically all the terrible things that Facebook has done with our information and our privacy. And last night I posted on Facebook a hypothetical question. How would you promote yourself if you couldn't use Facebook or Instagram? Instagram is owned by Facebook. A lot of people didn't really seem to know that. And so is WhatsApp. They're all owned by Facebook. So this post turned into a marketing advice thread, which was not what I was looking for at all. And I probably should have been a little bit more explicit in my question. I like ideas and philosophy, and welcome to my brain. I was looking for a conversation about how much we belly dancers rely on Facebook and Instagram to not only promote ourselves, but connect with other dancers and other members of our community. And it's because these platforms are really, really good for promoting a moving visual medium. What better way to promote your dance class than with a dance video? So that's all well and good, but it wasn't really what I was getting at. What I wanted to get at was how much we rely on these platforms to just stay connected and not even just promote. Like I connect with dancers literally all over the world. And part of that is, as a Salampur instructor, we have this enormous, amazing global community of dancers. I mean, it's incredible. And I am so absolutely grateful for all of the community building and connection that our school has, that Suhaila has created. It's amazing. But the way we keep in touch with each other is mostly through Facebook and Instagram. What I was trying to get at with the post, it didn't seem like anybody had been following the news for the last 2.5 years. And I wanted to create this video, ironically, to post it on Facebook, ironically, in a sort of weird meta performance art kind of social commentary. So one, I'm using video to not only talk about this issue, but also promote myself. And I'm going to post this video on Facebook, which is part of the problem, but I'm also going to post it to YouTube. But YouTube is owned by Google. Here's the thing, I don't expect to leave the Facebook ecosystem. But the question was, what if? But I wanted to go through some of the kind of icky things that have come up in the news lately about Facebook. So first, let's go through the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad things that Facebook has done in the past couple of years. The big one is the Cambridge Analytica scandal. So if you haven't been paying attention, which I get it, it's overwhelming and it's crazy and sometimes a little bit hard to understand. Basically, Facebook gathered a bunch of information about its users and then sold it to this company, Cambridge Analytica, which then sold their information, our information, to the presidential election campaign of Emperor Orange Julius. This is a problem because basically that information helped get him elected. So I don't try to get too political, but if you've been following me on Facebook, you'll notice that I've gotten kind of political. I believe in a just society. I believe that caring for people in our society is not a bad thing. And I also believe that our current administration is based on cruelty and cruelty alone. So if you're one of those people that doesn't like to harm other people just because they're different, then, you might be a little bit upset about this whole Cambridge Analytica thing. There's more information out there on the internet. I linked to some articles on the blog posts. So when you delete something off of Facebook, it's never actually deleted. They keep it. That's kind of icky. I don't know what you're posting on Facebook. I don't know your personal life. You might want to be a little bit more careful about that. There's one that really bothers me. So Facebook knew that Russia was buying political ads and creating sort of front accounts and front pages trying to sway the 2016 election. You might have believed that they were true, like grassroots, like organizations, like some real person creating a real Facebook page to like create a platform for their pet political issue. So there were pages on both sides of the spectrum. Basically, fake accounts, Facebook knew about it, and they were like, this is fine. We don't want to get involved with this. Well, yeah, we know what happened. The facial recognition thing is kind of creepy. Is this Abby? So facial recognition is pretty Orwellian in my point of view, and it's not something we can avoid, but if you haven't thought about it, maybe you think it's creepy now too, and maybe you didn't before. They shared our private messages with Netflix and Spotify recently. Like, that came out in the news like yesterday or the day before. So nothing is private, even your private messages. They should call them not really private messages. Just now, like this year, after public outrage and scandal and lawsuits, the District of Washington, D.C. is suing Facebook right now. Facebook is just now, like since last spring, starting to make a concerted effort to actually remove hate speech and other violent material, such as white supremacy groups, hate speech, hate groups, anti-women, anti-marginalized people. So actually trying to make an effort, but only after a bunch of us complained and said this is really horrible. They didn't think that that was a problem before public outrage. I mean, it's good that they're doing something now. Better late than never, but people have died. Speaking of people dying, there's this last thing, which I found out about as I was researching the blog post, was that, so Facebook knew that there was, their platform was helping enable a genocide in Myanmar. And Facebook commissioned a human rights report themselves, which the results said, oh yeah, we could have done better. So that's a thing that happened. I kind of heard about that in the news, but didn't really hear about that in the news. And then I was researching and found that. So that's disturbing. So that's just like a tiny fraction of the stuff that I want you all to know about. And when you use Facebook, and yeah, it's, again, really great platform. Yay, we get to see each other, we get to have discussions. Facebook groups are a wonderful way to connect with people and cause belly dance drama, which apparently we can't live without. What I wanted to end with was not to just rag on Facebook and make this like some elaborate performance art piece about like the meta of using Facebook to promote a post, to criticize Facebook, to get you to not use Facebook, because it's not. I mean, it is, but it's not. So the big thing really is, how do we then engage with other dancers in ways that aren't Facebook and Instagram? Well, there's YouTube, and YouTube is owned by Google, like I mentioned. You know, we gotta use something. So one of the things that came up in the discussion, spurred by my hypothetical, what would you do to promote yourself if you couldn't use Facebook and Instagram post, was newsletters. I love the newsletter idea. I think it's great, but my base of people doesn't really engage with newsletters that much. Now, I am a professional freelance writer. I have written for companies and gotten amazing open rates, like way higher than average for their industries. I know how to write headlines. I know how to write engaging newsletters. But I think it's because most people expect to engage with me on Facebook and Instagram. You get that nice dopamine hit. Social media hits a really primal, kind of lizard brainy part of our essence as great apes. It's the novelty, it's the newness. When you get that like on a video, it's like, yes! And your brain goes, woo, reward, dopamine, woo, right? When you open a newsletter, you're not getting that dopamine hit, which is why newsletters aren't as exciting. Because when you open up your Facebook feed and there's new stuff, the novelty part of your brain is like, ooh, new stuff. Humans love new stuff. This is why app culture exists in the first place. We love new things. New! So when you open up your Facebook feed and your Instagram feed and there's new stuff in there, it's the same thing. There's that dopamine response of like, woo, new! You're not gonna get that when I send you a newsletter. Email is so 1998. And you can't engage with it. You can't have that satisfaction of going, like, love, or surprise face. What's up? Loved your newsletter. What I'm saying is, let's think about how we use these platforms. Let's think about how they use our content, because basically we're just free content creators for them. When your friends and the people, artistic people that you know, have a newsletter, sign up for it. And when you get it in your inbox, open it, because we can see the open rates on our end of the platform. If you see something in there that is remotely interesting, click on the link, because we also see the click-through rates. And it makes us feel good. It makes us feel like the effort that it took to create that newsletter, because creating newsletters is not easy, which is another thing. Yeah, we're creating all this free content for these huge, huge multi-billion-dollar companies, and we can't even like open a newsletter from our creative friends. So let's fix that. I'm going to work on it too. So anytime I see that a friend of mine who is a creative person or has a small business has a newsletter, I'm going to sign up for that newsletter. And when I get that newsletter in my inbox, I'm going to click on it, I'm going to open it, I'm going to click some stuff in there, because we have to support each other and we have to stick together. And like the things that is revealed that Facebook has been doing lately are just, they're not good. I'm not going to leave Facebook. I'm not getting rid of my account anytime soon because I need it. I need to connect with all of you, and I want to connect with all of you, and I love seeing what you're up to, and I love seeing other dancers post their combinations from class. I love seeing our dancers posting their photos from their drill sessions or their collective rehearsals, or hey, here's a clip from a performance that I did the last week. Like, I love that. I think it's really awesome that we get to share these moments in time with each other all the time. But we need to be mindful about how we're using these platforms and how they're using us. If you can support live art in your community, support live art in your community. If you can and you're able to, do it. Might make some new connections along the way that aren't just recorded for the gram or for the heart or for the like. There is a link in the description for signing up for my newsletter, and I'm going to be sending out more newsletters. And if you are seeing this on YouTube, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Yeah, so subscribe to my newsletter, subscribe to your friends' newsletters, subscribe to your friends' YouTube channels, even though YouTube is owned by Google and Google is huge, and they used to say don't be evil, but we know how that goes. So I'll see you very soon. Bye.